What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Back with my post-fight Timothy Desert Storm Bradley versus Brandon Rios. Holy shit. Now, some people are probably going to get mad, but I don't care because I say what I feel on my channel. And I'm going to attempt to break down the fight, give you my thoughts and what I've seen. First of all, Bradley won by stoppage. He stopped Brandon Bam Bam Rios, which was a shocker. I think even the people who are picking Bradley were probably picking him to outbox and win a decision. So I don't know anyone that was really picking Bradley by stoppage. So masterful performance. Timothy Bradley teams up with Teddy Atlas and they put together a masterpiece. Now, I'm already hearing excuses. People are saying, oh, Rios took a dive and it was his weight and stuff. And no doubt, of course, his weight had something to do with him being lethargic. But that's why I preach the same things on my channel. A lot of you guys get power happy. And whoever's tough and shows you that grit, then that's what you rock with. You just think, oh, it's the power puncher. I remember people leaving comments on my videos talking about pillow-fisted Bradley, wheelchair Bradley, but he's the better boxer. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look and analyze every fight. It's not just about power. We've seen this time and time again. Lucas Matisse, he's tough. He was in there with bigger punchers like Danny Garcia, Humberto Soto, and a guy like Victor Postal was the one that ended up stopping him. And Teddy Atlas has an interview on Dante's Boxing Nation that he did with him, and Teddy Atlas said something that I definitely agree with. He said that there comes a day for every fighter where they've had enough tough fights, and you know what I'm saying, your body will react a certain way no matter how tough you are, like a certain like mileage. And once you get beyond that, he said that's why it's imperative that you not just fight with your heart and grit, but be smart about it. You know what I'm saying, to extend your career. So I like the work that he did with Bradley, man. I thought Bradley looked really sharp. My tweets, you'll see them in this particular video. You can go on my Twitter, follow me at BOXINGEGO. And round one, Timothy Bradley came out there very confident. He was using a jab. Tony Weeks was a referee. He was creating angles, and he was just really walking up to Brandon Rios. I see no signs of fear. Now, the only round that I really gave to Brandon Rios, and it wasn't like a superior round, was round two. I thought Rios did enough to win. He landed a real good shot halfway through. He landed a right hand on Bradley. But throughout the fight, Bradley was just looking good, and he was doing this sidestep where he was moving kind of like Pacquiao, but just sidestepping, and Rios just couldn't really reset in time. He was just too slow and sluggish and lethargic, and he couldn't create that inside exchange that he's known for. You know what I'm saying? And Bradley was, throughout the fight, he was landing some good vicious body shots, and that's exactly what you want to do. If you guys seen the weigh-in, Rios looked pretty drained. His face looked kind of sucked up, but we've seen Rios there before, so you also have to give credit and stop taking away from the performance of Bradley. I've seen Rios look worse on the scales than he did yesterday. He looked way worse in the maybe when he was at 135. Watch the Brandon Rios 2 days. He looked like a skeleton. Some of the Mike Alvarado fights, he didn't look good in the weigh-ins, and he still put on hell of a performance. So Bradley he really did a lot of things right. Rios, and the other thing you got to take into mind in consideration is Rios came into this particular fight with a superior weight advantage. Like they said at the beginning, Rios weighed 170 pounds. Like, just to put it in perspective, in Triple G's last two fights, he weighed about 173, 175 pounds, and that's a middleweight. So we're talking about a welterweight rehydrating to 170. Bradley, on the other hand, rehydrated to 155. So really throughout the fight, Rios he just really couldn't get into the fight. I'm sure he had an 8-month layoff, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's what you do in that 8 months. You know what I'm saying? Boxing is crucial. It's a brutal sport. That's why you see guys like Floyd Mayweather. He took 21 months off in retirement, quote unquote, after he stopped Ricky Hatton. Took 21 months off, came back, and then dominated a legend who was the champion at lightweight and moved up and fought at a catchweight in Juan Manuel Marquez, and he dominated him for 12 rounds. So you gotta put it in perspective. It's really what you do to your body. Rios, you just have to have a little bit more discipline, you know what I'm saying, in your off season, and like you're in control, because he was almost going to fight Kell Brook, so that would have probably been Kell Brook can box too. Plus he has more power than Bradley, so you got to find a way to stay motivated, stay in shape. Like I said, boxing is crucial. But Bradley landed 45%, Rios 18. He was never really in the fight. And Teddy Atlas, he was getting me pumped. He was just old school boxing coaching. And at the end of round 7, he was just saying that basically Bradley needs to control the geography. And then out of nowhere, even though Bradley was pretty much dominating, he started getting Bradley fired up. He's like, "We're firemen! We control the flames! We move the like he just started yelling about them being firemen. And then you seen it resonated with Bradley because he came out pumping the jab and letting his hands go. And shortly after that motivational speech, he got the stoppage by knocking Brandon Rios down twice in round 9. And it was he barely got up after the first knockdown. He got up like on the 8 count, 9 count or something like that. And then he just wasn't throwing back. And look at my tweets, man. When I was tweeting, I was calling it. I just seen Brandon Rios just looked very lethargic. He was like falling against the rope. Definitely didn't look like vintage Bam Bam. And then they interviewed Max Kellerman, interviewed Bradley. He was just happy. Thank God. Thank the veterans. And he likes the partnership with Teddy Atlas. So there are no more real questions about the partnership. They look pretty good. They look very sharp to me. And then in a shocking turn of events, Brandon Rios announced that he's retiring. He says, "My body's not the same no more. I'm done. I got to think about my family and friends." So I don't know if he was emotional because that's the first time he's ever been stopped in his career and he just couldn't get into the fight. I don't know if that's his real permanent decision, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes after a fight, like he was almost in tears. So sometimes the emotions can get the best of you and you might make a decision just because you're embarrassed or whatnot. So I don't know. But according to Brandon Rios, he said he's retiring and he's done. He's done with boxing. So sad to see. I like Brandon Rios, so shout out to him, whatever he decides to do next. It wasn't his night, wasn't the best performance from Brandon Rios. And again, this is the harsh realities of boxing. You got to take care of yourself and your off season, kind of make it a year-round thing, because you can't get in there with somebody who's in shape. Like Bradley's almost always in shape, especially at the weigh-in. You know what I mean? By the time the fight comes, he's always in shape. He's always conditioned. But I like what I've seen from Bradley. He looked very sharp, looked confident, looked crisp. I would love to see Bradley, Keith Thurman, Kell Brook, any of them guys if he's fighting like that, because he was moving good. He was sidestepping. He was being smarter. And his precision looked better. Like he was dominating Jesse Vargas too in when he was with Joe Diaz last fight. But to me, he looked wild. Like he was winning and just Jesse Vargas wasn't elite enough to have an answer for it. But he looked sloppy and wild. Like he was missing and winging a lot of shots. He was a little bit tighter with this particular. I didn't see him missing and winging a lot of shots. So I don't know. Maybe it's because Jesse Vargas is maybe a little bit leaner and a better mover, and Brandon Rios was just kind of like sluggish and lethargic. I don't know. Whatever the reason, his accuracy was way better. His precision, he was just more calculated, throwing more combinations. The HBO commentary was talking about. HBO, I'm going to have to make a separate video. Some of their narration, the commentary is retarded. They saying that Brandon Rios, had he stayed at lightweight, he might arguably be the best lightweight to ever grace the planet or something. Like, Rios was cool down there, but come on, like, that's crazy. I thought he lost to Richard Brill, so how you going to say he's the best lightweight? That's what I'm saying. I don't think they think through their comments. You know what I mean? He was barely even making weight down there. And he had like wars with like John Murray or whatever the dude's name is from England. You know what I'm saying? Even though he battered him up pretty good. But just to say all-time lightweight, you know what I mean? What about Duran's? You know, I don't know. Broner had a good run at lightweight. So just some of the crazy things that HBO says is just retarded. But there's no excuse. Bradley did his thing. If Rios was ill-prepared, if he didn't, you know what I'm saying? Other people have been through long layoffs, through injury. Ward was on a long layoff with the injury and all this. Came back, fought Edwin Rodriguez, who was a power puncher, undefeated, and rehydrated to 190 pounds. So it's really what you choose to do in your offseason. Let me know what you guys think and what you thought of the fight. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.